forward and put the spotlight on Bajaj Consumer. Numbers were just released. Jaideep Nandi is joining us now to talk to us about numbers. Your revenue growth was a bit soft this quarter, Jaideep. Talk to us about when do you see good revenue growth actually come back?
So I think if you look at the overall macro conditions, the rural market still remains subdued, while urban continues to outperform the rural markets. As far as general trade, the traditional trade is concerned, it remains muted across most FMCG categories in the personal care space. But if you look at all the other levers that have been pushing as a company, I think all of the levers have been tracking very well. As far as modern trade and e-commerce channels, both have been tracking very, very well, consistently double-digit growth. This quarter, we did about 26% growth in modern trade, about 27% in e-commerce. And this has been the trend for the last maybe 8 quarters or so. International business, which we have started pushing heavily for the last maybe 7, 8 quarters, that is tracking well. That's at a 59% growth. So as far as most of the channels other than general trade has been doing well, and we expect that after what the government has announced in terms of rural housing and spendings in agriculture, etc., that demand should start picking up. So this is where we are. So we are quite hopeful in the next few quarters the revenue growth trends will turn more positive.
See double-digit volume growth coming back? Any visibility that you may have?
So we already see what we also did was diversification of our portfolio. So we were basically an almond drops company. We were at about a 7% salience of non-almond drops, and that has now moved to about 19%. So almond drops is just 80% of our, just about a little more than 80% of our turnover. A lot of other products that I've been pushing in terms of extensions of almond drops into skin and hair care. Some 6 products launching those categories. We are also pushing the ethnic range, which is more Indian kind of products in for the general household. So that has been tracking well. So broad basing of the products has resulted in already very close to double-digit volume growths, both for the quarter as well as for the year. So double-digit growths for next few quarters, we think should be possible. Value growth is something that has been not as keeping up with the volume growths. So that we feel with this rural coming back, we should think that that should come up as well. Yeah.
So where do you see, your almond drop becoming a minority part of your revenue mix? That journey has started. Do you see in the next 2 to 3 years come down lesser than 50%?
So that's not really at a very mid-term. That is not really the plan. I think we have been talking of making almond drops about 60 to 70% of our turnover, with the new products or other products other than almond drops coming to 40%. So at 19%, we are really on track with that, and we think that in the next 2 to 3 years, that 30 to 40% number will get breached. And after that, we'll see how it tracks. If the new products give us good revenue as well as profit growths, we would push those levers, because almond drops in its space has been doing very well. But beyond a certain point, the growth in almond drops will remain muted, while we'll keep pushing newer geographies, improving distribution footprint, etc. Beyond a certain point, it will not be possible to grow almond drops continuously at a double-digit growth, which the overall company aspires to grow on a long-term, consistent basis.
I just wanted to talk about the competitive intensity as well from unorganized players. Which of your segments is being impacted on the back of this?
So we don't see too much of competition from unorganized sector. You clearly see that in the e-commerce space, like everywhere else, a lot of newer French players have come in and nibbling away at numbers that is true across all segments. So even in personal care space, we see that. So the premium segment has been growing, not really very large numbers, but there have been a plethora of brands which have come into the personal care space. So that obviously we take as competition. But in terms of pure unorganized sector, which is nibbling at the bottom, we don't see too much of that happening. It's more the organized player who are getting into the more bottom segment, the 10-20 rupee pricing segment, where they are trying to play in. And that's where competition is. It has always been. Now, possibly with the volumes being muted, more companies are trying to exploit that 10-20 rupees space.
All right, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much.